Howdy gamers, Old Gamer Guy here. Medieval Dynasty is a brand new survival game on consoles, but before we get into it, these are the options you can change to customize your gameplay. And while I said it was a survival game, you can turn off hunger and thirst and poisoning and things like that. There are apparently bandits in this game, but you will not see any of that in this video. This is like the first hour of gameplay. It's actually more than an hour, but I'm not really sure how much. Somewhere between an hour and 2 hours. But I guess I'll get this out of the way right at the very beginning. This is a PS5 game running on a PS5, but it is capped at 30 frames per second, which is kind of disappointing. After a while, I didn't really notice it, but I did notice here at the very beginning. It does run in 4K. But this clip was captured at 1080p for some reason. I'm not really sure why, because my PS5 is set to record at 4K, but for whatever reason, this was recorded at 1080p, and this clip I'm uploading to YouTube will be 1080p, but the game does run at 4K, but it is a disappointing 30 frames per second. Whether that's a deal breaker for you is up to you. So as we approach this little settlement here, I said it was a survival game, but you also build stuff, and you can even build your own little settlement. So anytime you see one of these settlements in the game, just keep in mind that you can build one of these for yourself, and it will attract NPCs to live and work in your settlement. And that's, you know, kind of the main point of this game. You can start a family, and when your character dies, you will start to play as your heir, but you're not going to see any of that in this video. I'm going to build a house, but that's about it. And I'm not going to show all of these conversations or really go into what they're talking about very much. These are just quests. They're exclamation points on the map and on my compass, and this guy wants me to gather sticks and stones with the end goal of building a house eventually. So here's a look at the map. This is only part of the map. You can actually move it around, and there's stuff you can't see right there. So we're in this little settlement here. We are going to be expected to start building before too long. So I thought I might as well pick a good spot. You can't build too close to another settlement, so I'm going to go over here. There's a bridge across the river right there, and so that seems like a good spot to start building. But in the meantime, we have another exclamation point on our compass up here. It's a white exclamation point because it's not a quest I'm currently tracking. Obviously, I am just now getting the quest, but if I already had it and I was tracking it, then the exclamation point would be yellow. But this guy has a problem with one of the local kids. I guess this kid is kind of being a pest to this guy's sister, so he wants me to do something about it. It's just one of those basic early game quests, and he just wants me to give the kid a stick. So I already had a quest to pick up some sticks and some stones, but now I just need an extra one to give this kid. But if you've played a survival game like 7 Days to Die or DayZ, this will all look very familiar. There are certain basic resources you can gather from the very beginning, and you can make stuff out of those resources, and then over time you get access to more and more complex technology, and so eventually you'll start having to use several resources to make one thing and several resources to make another thing, and then you combine those two things to make something else. And just like most of these games, a lot of the early learning curve is just figuring out what things look like so you can spot stuff from a distance. But we have an extra stick here for this kid. So I'm following the yellow exclamation point on my compass, and here's this kid. He looks a little bit sullen, but he is going to be appreciative of this stick because apparently he's interested in being a knight, and so I'm telling him to pretend it's a sword and practice with it, and I'm telling him he should defend the younger children if possible. That's what knights do. They do honorable things, and so stop being a nuisance, kid. All right? So now I'm going to go back and tell this guy in the field that the kid now has something else to do. And this guy's so happy about it, he gives me some flat bread. When you get a reward, it'll be in the upper left-hand corner. And I'm about to get some Dynasty reputation there. So you might get an item, you might get some reputation, you might get both. But we are already moving up in the world. So I'm going to basically head toward that spot on the map that I chose to start building my my first house, because I think you can have more than one house eventually. This map is not procedurally generated. It's always the same map. I'm not sure about items because a little bit later on you'll see I'll find some items next to the road. I'm not sure if all that stays the same from game to game. But we're just going to generally head toward that spot on the map. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the various menus, but you'll get a glimpse at a lot of the menus in this video here. So I'm building a stone axe now. Now I've got my axe. It says in the upper right hand corner they still want me to build a hammer, and they want me to cut down some trees, and they want me to gather some straw. But I kept walking toward that spot on the map, and I found a place here that has a bunch of badgers wandering around. And one of my first online gaming names was H Badger. So I felt like this was a sign, and I looked at the map, and indeed, this was the spot that I marked on the map. So this is auspicious. We've got badgers in the area. I was once called Badger, so surely this means something good. But we're going to start cutting down some trees here, and I was paranoid about the tree falling on me, so I was being very careful here, but I'm not really sure if that's a danger or not. Looking at the menu, we need a log and 10 sticks to make our wooden hammer, and we need a wooden hammer to build or repair anything. But never mind that, because the game is telling us that we are very thirsty all of a sudden. So down there in the left-hand corner, you can see your hunger and your thirst and your health and your stamina. And you have to keep an eye on those things, unless, of course, you start your game and customize it to take those things away and make it a little bit more casual. But you can walk out here in the water, take a drink, and it will fill up the thirst meter completely. So we can get back to work and chop down some more trees. Or chop up the trees anyway. Chop up the ones we already knocked down. No, don't punch the tree. Use your axe and keep swinging that axe until you get some logs. All right. It's log, it's log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's log, it's log. It's better than bad. It's good. Okay, so now we have a hammer, and it's telling us to collect some straw. And so I ran around for a good while looking for straw just in the wild. I went into the town, and there is straw in town. This guy will give you a ride somewhere if you have the coin. But you're not going to see that in this video, but you will see those guys just kind of standing next to the road. But yeah, I was just kind of wandering around looking for straw, and then just randomly I came over here and I saw that I could pick up some reeds, and so I grabbed a few of them, but I didn't even realize those are the straw, because the straw number is adding up there, but I didn't notice that at the time. So I just ran off. I've got 5 of them in my pocket right now, but not too long after that, I realized that somewhere I had picked up some straw, and using my big brain, I deduced that I had picked up these reeds, and these reeds and the straw were one and the same. So very exciting stuff. And now we can go start working on our house. So I'm back here at the little area that I chose. And we can build only one thing in this menu here, the simple small house. And then you can place it however you want. And in old gamer guy tradition, it took me a long time to settle on my placement. But we're going to put our house here. And so now you can see there are some wooden stakes kind of staking off a cleared off area here. And you won't actually see what you're trying to build until you equip your hammer. I totally forgot that I built a hammer before, or maybe I couldn't figure out how to equip it or something, but I built another hammer, and as soon as I had that hammer in my hand, all of a sudden the foundation appeared. And when you run up to it, you can see what items you need to build it. So I just need a bunch of stones to build this foundation. So as long as I have the hammer in my hand and I have the stones to... do you have the stones to build your own house, son? But I've got the foundation built, and now we have another part of the frame ready to build. And so we need some logs for that. So we'll pick up a few logs and then head back over to the house. I have to put the hammer back in my hand to show the frame. You can tell I'm having a little difficulty with the menu, or with the interface. It's not a bad interface by any means, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I am the old gamer guy, but sometimes it takes me a while to get used to a menu. Right here, I'm I'm doing some things. You can completely remove the UI from the screen, and so I think that happens with the digital pad, and so that's what was going on right there. I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong with the menu there. But now I'm getting back to construction. We need some sticks to fill in the walls here. And we're slowly building our house. And there we go. So, of course, you are earning XP while you are doing all this stuff. And eventually you can start to spend points in 6 categories of skills up here at the top of the screen. And I have earned a skill point in the survival category. So these are the various things I can level up in the survival category. Tier 1 through 4. The only thing I'm going to spend any points on in this video is survival knowledge up there at the top. And this will basically give me extra XP for all the survival type stuff that I do. So I figure leveling that up at the very beginning is probably a good idea. But there's a lot of useful skills here, and I'm sure in the other categories as well. But never mind that. We now have to set a rabbit trap. So we can look at our map and we can see areas that we have walked around in, and it will, as you explore, it will say you have discovered a place with rabbits or badgers or boars or whatever. So here's a rabbit, and we're going to put down a rabbit trap right in here. There it is. And we will just set this here and walk away. And later we will walk back by and there will be a rabbit in there. So now it's telling me I need to make a wooden spear and a stone knife. And I need to hunt a wild animal. So I'm just clearing some trees here in between my house and the bridge across the river. I felt like this would make a good path to my eventual little village here. And now we're going to make a wooden spear. And then we'll make our stone knife. And I made a mistake by not going in the house right after I built it, because I eventually discovered that when you build the house, there is automatically a single bed, a double bed, a box to put stuff in, and a cauldron to cook on. So I could have gone in there and slept until the next morning, but instead I was trying to hunt these animals in the dark, which was dumb. I just missed a rabbit right there. But it was kind of atmospheric and fun to do this. I actually heard a noise and turned around, and there's a fox over here. I think I heard a turkey also, but I definitely heard a fox. And I hit the fox right there. That was a good shot. But my spear is gone, or at least I don't see it in the dark. And I'm thinking, did the fox run off with my spear stuck in the fox? So I don't know why I didn't stop and make another spear immediately, but I just keep walking with no weapon in my hand. And eventually, the wounded fox, clearly annoyed with me, is attacking. And all of a sudden I'm having RimWorld flashbacks, and I'm afraid my whole game's going to be destroyed by a small animal. So I panicked a little bit, but I eventually got I got the axe out and then started chasing this wounded fox. I'm really sorry, Mr. Fox. You deserved better than this. You deserved a clean kill, and I did not deliver a clean kill. So I'm chasing him. I get exhausted, and he gets away from me a little bit. So I'm not sure where he went at first. There he is. I don't know how well you can see this. I don't think my my brightness setting is too dark, but maybe it is. So I just killed the fox with my axe, and I'm just feeling bad about this whole encounter. The whole thing just went terribly. But I can't even see where the fox is. It's so dark. So I made a torch, but then I couldn't figure out. I didn't realize that I needed to unequip the axe. And so once I didn't have the axe in my hand, I could see that square was to use the torch. I would push square, but I didn't notice that. So I came back to the house here because I wasn't very far away from the house. So yeah, we've got a double bed and a single. I'm a single fella, so I'm going to sleep in the single. But these houses, I guess, are just ready-made for a family. So that's nice. I had no idea the medieval times had these sort of amenities. But we do have a good storage chest here, and I can get rid of some of this stuff because you do have weight limits, and it will slow you down, tire you out, and you'll see that a little bit later. I'm going to be so encumbered, but I'm close enough to the house that I'm just going to I'm going to trudge over there, and I'm not going to make you guys watch that. Don't worry about it. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Right there, I just put away some St. John's wort. That's probably not a good idea because I discovered later that St. John's wort is good for curing a poison problem. So carrying around some St. John's wort is probably good. But we have another quest here in town to talk to somebody. I think this is the wife of the guy we talked to earlier. And I think she runs the local tavern. And so she's concerned about some kind of a delivery that would affect her supply of beer. And I understand that concern. I get it. So I'm sympathetic. But she's going to want me to go talk to somebody to find out what happened to this this shipment. But she also gave me a couple of beers, so I can go talk to her husband. And I don't want to get too much into the story, but these people knew my uncle. My family was driven from their home by war, and it sounded like my parents may have given their lives possibly to allow me to escape. So appreciate you for that. But I knew about this peaceful valley where my uncle had apparently moved and built himself a modest fortune. So that's what I'm doing here in the first place. But now I am building another wooden spear because I threw that other one away, or I couldn't find it anyway. And there's a rabbit right there. So right here is going to be the only actual bloodshed in this video. So if you're into that, pay close attention. But you can tell I'm having another little episode with the controls here. I wasn't sure if I had equipped the spear. Once you have it equipped, you hit triangle to actually get it out and use it. So there we go. And there goes the rabbit. So, sorry, rabbit. But when I walk up, I have the option to skin the rabbit, and I will automatically use my stone knife. And so now I got some fur and some meat. So I decided to stop by the house on the way and see if I could cook anything. I'm also a little bit over encumbered at the moment, so I should have used my storage chest here, but I didn't realize it at the time. But never mind that. Let's take a look at some of these menus here. We've got soups, we've got porridges, and there is an other category with stuff like scrambled eggs in it. But I can't cook anything at the moment. There are various ingredients that I'm missing, but I also need a wooden bowl for just about everything here. So I can't cook anything yet, so I'm going to have to stick to eating mushrooms and St. John's wort and drinking out of the river like an animal. But this is also about the time when I discovered that not every one of my quests was appearing automatically over there on the side of the screen. So I'm going to change my tracking to another quest. And I should have changed the tracking on my primary quest too, because right now it says survive for a season. So I don't really need to to have that on my screen at all times. So I should go ahead and untrack that. But never mind that. Look at this. Our rabbit trap has a rabbit in it. And it looks like eventually the trap will break and you'll have to replace it. But that's pretty cool. But changing our tracking to another quest gave us another person in town to talk to. And this is related to the missing tavern delivery. It was a shipment of rye that never showed up. So she's going to give us another name of a person to go talk to. So we are here. Our house is here. And our next objective is here. So it's quite a journey. And I should stop by the house and sleep until morning. But of course, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to walk over there right now. We're going to pick some mushrooms on the way. These mushrooms are slightly poisonous, but not that bad. So you can eat a few and then eat some St. John's wort and you're good. There are some berries that are quite a bit more poisonous if you pick them at the wrong time of year and they are unripe. And you'll see that a little bit later. But in the meantime, we have gotten 2 more skill points to spend. And I'm just going to go ahead and level up survival knowledge to level 3. And I don't think I'm going to earn any more skill points during this video. But we are going to max out survival knowledge. Very exciting. But we're continuing our journey. We're kind of over encumbered, so we're moving a little slow. But look at this. On the ground, we have a potion of healing, a potion of strength. There's some henbane, and then there's a potion of sobriety. So, like I said earlier, I don't know if I started a new game, if those potions would still be there or not. I don't know how that works. I guess there might be different stuff there, or possibly nothing. I don't know. Or maybe it depends on a difficulty level. But never mind that, because it's time for us to poison ourselves. I need to eat something, and I'm going to eat a couple of unripe berries, and that will put my poison level up to 40%. So I think I am officially poisoned at this point. But if I go down the list here, I also have some of those mushrooms in my inventory. And if I eat those, my poison level goes up much, much more slowly. So you can eat a few of these. And then once I exit the menu here, it's going to give me the pop-up about poisoning, which will tell me that St. John's wort is helpful. And I know I've got some St. John's wort in my pocket. So we'll eat that. And just 2 of them takes care of my poisoning. So happy, happy, joy, joy. But never mind all that. This long journey is coming to an end, or at least now we're halfway through, because we are approaching our target settlement. There was another wagoner outside of town, so if I had the coin, I could get a ride back to that other place. I don't know if I could get dropped off in my house. That would be cool. Or dropped off near my house. That would be very cool. I guess eventually you can put a wagoner outside your place. But never mind that. Let's break into these people's house. So just like in Skyrim, these NPCs will get up and go to work, and they'll do their job and stop and have lunch, and then they'll come back and go to sleep. But unlike Skyrim, you can walk into their house without breaking the law. So I was able to walk in and wake this guy up, and he tells me that his delivery guy disappeared down there in that yellow circle. I don't know how he would know that. That seems kind of suspicious, really, now that I think about it. But that's what he told me. He gave me a general area to search. So now I'm going to walk all the way back. Or am I? Because I don't know what happened here. I was just gathering some stuff. I'm not about to die or anything. But all of a sudden, my screen fades to black, and I wake up in my house the next morning. So I have no idea what happened there. My speculation is that the quest that said I needed to survive for a season, that quest is gone. So I'm guessing that I completed that, and so I got an automatic checkpoint or something. I don't know, but never mind that. We need to get back to our search for the missing rye, because those poor people in that little town need their beer. And I searched this area for quite a while until I found a blood stain. And in true video game fashion, I can look at one blood stain and then look around and find another one, and I can follow this trail. Is that the stench of death in the air? Or does somebody just have gas? Possibly a gassy moose is in the area. It's possible. You're laughing. Maybe you're laughing. I don't know. But it's possible. Gassy moose. A gassy boar. I mean, boar get gassy. I don't know. I've read it. I read it somewhere. People are talking about it. But we're following these blood trails, and there is the person we're looking for. He even has a little convulsion here. But I did not see him. He's right there in the middle of my screen, and I did not see him. I'm still following the blood. I still don't see him. Still don't see him. No, he can't be over there. Is there a blood stain over here? No, here's this blood stain. I don't see another blood stain. Where could he be? He's right there. I can't see him, but he's right there. So I'm still looking around, and I think, oh, the high ground. Yes, the high ground. So there's the blood stain. And for some reason, I'm abandoning the high ground. You never do that. I learned that somewhere else, too. You always keep the high ground, or you get your legs cut off. And there, finally there, I saw this guy sitting here. And I went down to investigate. He's still alive, but he is bleeding a lot. He says he was attacked. This is definitely the missing delivery guy. But if you remember earlier, I found a potion of healing. So I had the option to give him that potion of healing, and I did that. But he wants me to go back and notify his employer because I guess he doesn't want to get fired. And it's daytime, so Nadar is over here hard at work. And he seems pretty appreciative about me helping his employee. He's going to give me some gold as a reward. And he doesn't seem to be in a huge hurry to go save his bleeding employee, but whatever. Our responsibility with this situation is done. So we're going to head back to the house, and we're going to enjoy the scenery along the way, and we're going to pick up some resources along the way. But the main reason I am leaving this little clip in the video is because we are about to get a notification that we have not seen before. So as we travel, we are suddenly declared to be dirty. So down there in the lower left-hand corner, we have a new meter, which I didn't even notice before, but I guess it stands for being sweaty and dirty. But the good news is we can just go out here into the river, and that filthy meter will go away. We're not actually swimming here, unfortunately. We're just walking on the river bottom here. So that kills immersion a little bit, I would say, but it's not a huge deal, I guess. I don't really need to infiltrate these medieval villages and sneak around, or maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. It's early days here. But we're running back to the house. We're getting exhausted. Here I'm going to give you a little glimpse of the third-person view. You can't actually customize your character, I guess, because you are playing a particular character in the story. I guess maybe eventually you can make some clothes and stuff like that. But this third-person view does help you see things a little bit better. And we have found a chest on the ground, and there's some copper ore. But as you can imagine, copper ore is kind of heavy. And so now we are so encumbered that this is my walking speed here. And right there, I'm actually sprinting. But we are very close to the house. And so we are just going to slowly trudge over to the house. And I'm sweating. I'm about to have a hernia as we struggle back to the house, just trying to make it to our chest so we can store some of this crap, especially that ore, because clearly that was what put us over the edge and made us very slow. But we're back to full speed now, and we can go to the town and deliver this rye to the tavern lady. And this is going to be another interesting little mechanic here, because during this conversation I have the opportunity to flirt with this woman, and she is married to that other guy we talked to, so this is going to be an unsuccessful flirtation. But I do have I will have a quest up there in the corner of the screen that says I need to successfully flirt with somebody. So yeah, that unsuccessful flirting was the climax of this video, really. But we're going to go talk to the husband real quick before we end the video and run out of town. He's back over here in bed. And he's going to tell us about a murder. He's got to go investigate a murder. And I thought he might invite us to go with him to investigate, but he did not do that. But I thought it was an exciting little possible plot twist. But he is going to give us the name of another person to go talk to. Another good journey up to the northeast. And he's going to send us to go talk to somebody else in the valley that knew my uncle back in the day. And there is our next objective. So I'm going to get started on this journey even though it's nighttime. But I guess I might as well give my final thoughts on these first impressions. I like this game so far. The 30 frames per second issue is noticeable, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I do know that some people just can't stand anything less than 60 frames per second, so some people will be bothered by that. The game does run well otherwise, I guess. There's some pop in here and there that you've probably noticed. And there are some little stutters when the game auto-saves. In fact, you're going to see one of those here in a second. But I like this. I guess the fonts on the screen might be a little bit too small, so it would be good if we could scale the UI. But otherwise, yeah, there was some autosave stutter right there. But I do like this game. I'm not really planning on making a proper series out of it, but I probably will make some more videos in the future. So let me know what you think. But for now, thanks very much for watching.